Um, my name is Zane Kekoa Schweitzer. I grew up here on the island of Maui as a waterman. And so I grew up practicing the sports of surfing, windsurfing, stand-up paddling, hydrofoiling, canoe paddling, and all the many different practices we have here in the ocean in Hawaii. And in our culture, it's really a common thing to be connected with the environment and partake in the many different, elements. And so I'm really grateful to have been able to have, many mentors within my community to teach me. And today I've been fortunate enough to earn, many different championships between those sports, and most importantly have the opportunity to follow my dreams and be able to fight for something that I love, and make goals that have purpose. And it's all because of my connection with the ocean. And so from my travels around the world to my endeavors as an ocean activist, I think my driving motivation is always the health of our oceans, and my church and our playground that I see as our environment. So but yeah, I'm a published author of a book named Beneath the Surface. I published it coming up on 2.5 years ago now. And the book is a reminder for the readers to follow their dreams and create their own wave of success, and to, hopefully create goals that make them feel filled with purpose and that uplift the people around them and the environment. And so this has kind of sent me on a fun journey, not just for sports, but as well for continuing to learn in the areas I'm passionate about, and as well share.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds interesting. And yeah. So we have some questions about so one is, what has been the longest route you paddled?
The longest route I've ever paddled is still to this day the 11 City Tour. I got to compete in the 11 City Tour. I want to say about 10 years ago now. I'm not sure what the exact year was, but I know it was between 2010 and 2012. I'll have to double check with Anne Marie Richmond.
Yeah.
But Connor Baxter and I traveled over to Holland, to Friesland, to take part in the 11 City Tour, and paddling 30 miles average every day for 5 days straight is still to this day, my longest paddles. And as well, the longest single day paddles was also one of the days at the 11 City Tour, being 34 miles, I think it was, plus or something like that. And so we have events in Hawaii. The longest ones that we have here are 32 miles. And so we're doing like that event every day for 5 days straight. And, I remember thinking it was, and still to this day, honoring the learning experience for the mental toughness, because, it's physically, it's hard to get prepared for that. Right. But I mean, I think it's even more challenging to prepare yourself mentally for an experience like that. You have to really be tough, and I think that's why the 11 City Tour is so special.
Yeah. And what was the toughest route you paddled?
Oh man, I remember one day, I don't remember which route it was. Once again, this was around 10 years ago. But I remember it was very strong wind into the face and a lot of rain. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have to do this for the whole day for 30 miles. And it was really challenging because we had headwind, very strong headwind. The water was flat in the area, but the wind was creating chop. and so it made it a very challenging day. And I remember finishing and being so grateful for that massage at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Er,
And what does paddling give to you?
Oh, paddling gives me a sense of connection to my environment. It really does. Depending on, excuse me, no matter what the conditions are,
Hmm.
whether there's waves or it's flat, whether I'm on a lake or in the ocean or in a river, I always can get out and truly immerse myself in that environment. And it's very peaceful to disconnect from the world on land and the thoughts that come with it. And when I'm on the water, I have a sense of presence and mindfulness and the connection to nature.
Yeah. And what is the moment you will always remember in your paddling career?
Well, the moment I'll always remember in my paddling career, well, the 11 City Tour is definitely one of the moments that I'll never forget. 150-mile race was a big feat for me as a 15-year-old kid or however old I was then. But I think another one of the memories that really stand out to me is the Ultimate Waterman. It's an event that has many of my favorite disciplines in the ocean, including surfing, stand-up paddling, canoe paddling, and swimming. And it's 8 different ocean sports within a period of 10 days.
Yeah.
And this event is very exciting, to say the least. And I had many growing moments of growth, I think, personally, taking part in this event for 2 years, in 2016 and 2017. And but more importantly, it was the competitors that made it so special, because it was such a unique event with athletes that are experts in, you know, over 5 different categories of sports in the ocean. They were very unique human beings, and to be able to surround myself with them and travel through the country of New Zealand and explore, sorry about that, and
Yeah.
explore the beautiful country was so amazing. And I was able to take home, my greatest victories still to this day at that event. So those two experiences stand out to me a lot: the Ultimate Waterman and the 11 City Tour. And of course, all the amazing people and cultures I've been able to experience. I've been to over 45, 50 different countries, and um, all those trips had such a unique experience. It's hard to recall them, but riding big waves, sharing laughs at friends, really tough competitions stand out for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, you did the 11 city like 10 years ago. So will you maybe return one day or?
I think if I were to return, I would definitely come back a bit more prepared, and I would have an idea of what I'm coming into, and as well, maybe even come into it with a team, because I think it could make it a lot more inclusive and fun, and maybe even come up with a cause to fight for during the paddle. It's a very unique background and history with the 11C Tour, how it used to be an ice skating race. And
Yeah.
now with the changing environments around us, we've kind of, the people of Friesland have been forced to adapt and change from keep the course, but change the sport from an ice sport to a water sport. And so I think it's a powerful story.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Um,
Very cool. Well, it's a pleasure to share with the 11 City Tour community, and I hope that everyone out there that's considering to do this event really just enjoys the unique experience. You
Yeah.
know, it's I'll never forget paddling through those beautiful sheep farms and talking to sheep, and and winding through those narrow waterways. And so it's a really unique experience, and don't forget to enjoy it. Don't be too serious and winning the race.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.